we do hear a lot about persecution around the world, but Colombia and Brazil and all areas around the Amazonas region experience intense persecution as well. And I want to tell you a story about one family. There's a remote tribe in the Amazonas region, and the parents had 8 children. And the oldest daughter was chosen by the village to become a high priestess. And so she was groomed from birth through demonic rituals, both physical and spiritual, so that she could gain power, intense demonic power for her future. And they were also simultaneously grooming another boy in the village to be the high priest, so that this couple would basically be a power couple spiritually for the village. And the young girl, about 8-9 months ago, heard the gospel for the first time. And the young lady accepted Christ. And she was so enamored with what the Lord had done in her life. About 3 months later, she shared with her family, and her parents and her siblings came to Christ. And this was beautiful for their life, but it ended up creating a very dangerous situation for them. The villagers, and particularly those who had been grooming her since birth, were very angry and upset about it. And so they began to strategize. They would place guards around their home, they would follow them, they would harass them, and just in an effort to try to get them to back down on their commitment to Christ. But this family would not, and so they were getting closer and closer to the time where they could actually be murdered for their faith. And our missionaries in the area was able to make contact with them, and they helped create a plan for escape for them. And they waited by the roadside anxiously for hours, hoping that they had escaped from the home that they were trapped in, and didn't hear from them. They got word back that someone had been guarding the door, and they literally could not get out of the home. But the person either went away for a few minutes or something, because the family was able to escape, and they left literally with the clothes that were on their back. And they were able to escape the village and met the missionary couple on the road. And then this missionary team kind of adopted them, and they drove them to a safe house. And they began immediately to meet their physical needs, food, clothing, that kind of thing. But you have to remember, these villagers didn't even know Spanish. And so they had to learn the language. They had no life skills for a regular village. So they have to learn all the skills that it takes to survive in a normal Latin American city. And so they're in the process now of growing and developing that. And it's just a beautiful story of not only redemption, but the love and compassion and care of the Lord for those that He has saved. Not only salvation from hell, but to give them a rich and abundant life here, a life that is safe and that can have purpose. And so I would not be surprised at all if in the coming years we see this young lady who is groomed to be a high priestess in the demonic religion turns out to be a passionate evangelist for the gospel and goes back to her village to share it. So I would not be surprised at all if we see that in the upcoming years.